You may have adopted your dog as a puppy, or maybe they came into your life already grown, carrying scars from a past you'll never fully know. But somewhere along the way, something changed. They started following you from room to room, watching you in silence, seeking you out when the world feels too overwhelming. And then comes the question, what if, to them, you've become more than just a guardian? What if you are the mother they never had? That question might seem exaggerated at first, but if you start paying attention to the little gestures, the silences, the stares, the quiet rituals, you'll realize that dogs don't show love only with wagging tails or excited barks. Sometimes, the deepest love reveals itself in the smallest moments. Today, you're going to discover 9 powerful gestures that prove your dog may see you as the mother figure they once lost, or never knew. And by the time you reach the 9th one, you might never look at them the same way again. 1. They sleep better when they hear you breathe. Have you noticed that your dog only truly falls asleep when you're calm? Maybe they lie down by your feet or curl up in a corner of the room, but it's only when your breathing slows that they let out a deep sigh and drift off. That quiet moment when they surrender to sleep isn't just routine. It's a deep echo of an ancient instinct. In the wild, puppies sleep around their mother, but stay alert to her breathing. If she's restless, they stay on guard. If she's calm, they sink into deep rest. Even though your dog is no longer a puppy, their body remembers. When they relax only after sensing your serenity, it's a sign that they see you as the core of their safety, just like a pup would with its mother. You're not just company, you're their anchor. Many people think it's cute when their dog curls up nearby, but they don't always realize that it's actually a silent vote of absolute trust. Your dog is saying, as long as you're okay, I can be okay too. It's a kind of emotional surrender that's incredibly rare, especially in dogs who've experienced trauma or abandonment. And here's something even deeper. If you've ever woken up and caught them watching you, not asking for anything, just quietly watching, it deepens that bond even further. It's as if they're silently saying, while you were sleeping, I stayed here, just to make sure you were safe. This kind of behavior can't be taught with treats or commands. It comes from love, from a trust that's been built slowly, day by day, and it only happens with someone who, to them, represents care, protection, motherhood. So tell me, does your dog only sleep soundly when you're nearby? Or have you ever caught them watching over you while you rested? If so, now you know. They've found in you the mother their instincts were always searching for. 2. They place their favorite toy at your feet, but don't let go right away. Maybe you've seen it happen. Your dog brings you their favorite toy, the one they rarely let anyone touch, and gently places it at your feet. But instead of releasing it completely, they hold on for just a moment longer. They look into your eyes and wait. What seems like a simple habit is actually one of the deepest emotional gestures your dog can make. Puppies naturally bring objects to their mothers as a way to connect. Sometimes it's play, sometimes it's a request for attention, but often it's a quiet invitation to bond. When your dog repeats this with you, they're saying, without words, this is my treasure and I want to share it with you. But that hesitation to let go, that's what reveals the depth. It's not just about the toy, it's about what it represents. Your dog is sharing something they love, while also searching your reaction. Will you understand the gesture? Will you accept it with affection? This is not just play, it's emotional vulnerability. What's more, they're not doing this for anyone else. Even if others are in the room, this behavior is usually reserved for that one special person, the one they consider their emotional center, the pack member who became something more, a mother. Too often, people think the dog just wants to play, but this moment is sacred in the dog's world. They're offering something meaningful, something personal, and when you respond with excitement, praise, or even a soft thank you, they feel seen, understood, loved. So next time your dog brings you that drool-covered toy and lingers just a little too long, smile. Because in that simple gesture, they're reminding you, you're not just their person, you're the one they trust enough to give their heart to. 3. They stand between you and the door, even when it's quiet. Most people only notice this behavior when there's a knock at the door or a strange noise outside. But the most powerful version of this gesture happens when absolutely nothing is happening. The house is peaceful, everything's calm, and still, your dog walks over to the door and places themselves between it and you, silently. No drama, just presence. This isn't random. It's a deep, instinctive memory passed down through generations. In nature, puppies often sleep in a circle around the mother, and the most alert ones position themselves between her and the outside world, not because they were taught to, but because something in their body says, "I need to protect the heart of the nest." When your dog does this with you, even when there's no threat, they're stepping into that role, not because you ask them to, but because in their heart, you are the one who must be kept safe. It's not about fear, it's about devotion. It's important to understand that they don't see you as weak. On the contrary, they see you as essential, as irreplaceable, and they know on a primal level that if something were to happen to you, their entire world would fall apart. So they remain alert, they stay close, they quietly stand guard, even when there's nothing obvious to guard against. And the most moving part? They do it silently. No barking, no fuss. Just a quiet decision. I'll stand here, just in case. And if you start to observe closely, you'll see a pattern. They only do this when you're home, when you're there. Because to them, protection isn't about territory, it's about you. Some people mistake this for territorial behavior, but it's so much more than that. It's silent devotion, a quiet declaration of love. If anything comes, it'll have to go through me first. And even if nothing ever comes, they'll still be there. Because the idea of losing you is reason enough to keep watch. So think back. How many times has your dog done this without you even noticing? How many nights have they laid facing the door while you slept peacefully? That's the kind of love that doesn't need to be taught, only earned. And in that silent gesture, they're telling you, "You're everything to me." 4. They read your body without you saying a word. You barely start to stand up from the couch and your dog's already walking toward the door. Your breathing shifts, and suddenly they're watching you, concerned. Before you even call their name, they're at your side, ready to act, to comfort, or simply to be close. That's not coincidence. That's full emotional attunement. It's a language that exists only between beings who are deeply connected. In nature, puppies learn to interpret their mother's body, her posture, her pace, her stillness, to know what's coming next. They don't wait for commands. They feel. When your dog watches you this way, they're doing exactly that, tuning in to your state of being and responding to your unspoken energy. This kind of observation doesn't happen with just anyone. It takes time, shared space, and a deep emotional bond. Your dog learns the sound of your footsteps, the rhythm of your routine, the difference in your voice when you're joyful or low. They don't just listen to you, they study you with love. That's why sometimes they appear out of nowhere, sensing that something's wrong before you say a word. Or they disappear into another room when they pick up on tension. Even if you haven't raised your voice, they don't need your words. Your body tells the whole story, and they're always listening. This behavior reflects more than just training or familiarity. It reveals an extraordinary level of emotional sensitivity that only emerges through real trust. It's their way of saying, with their eyes, "I'm in sync with you. You are my center. My world turns with yours." Some people call this emotional intelligence in dogs. But maybe it's simpler than that. Maybe it's just love in its purest form, the kind that doesn't need explaining, only feeling. When your dog understands you without words, it's because, to them, you're not just a human. You're home. You're mom. So next time they respond before you even ask, don't brush it off. Look into their eyes and say thank you, because they're not reading your mind. They're feeling your heart, and that's how they take care of you. 5. They change their behavior when you're feeling sad. You don't have to cry. You don't even have to speak. Sometimes, all it takes is a longer sigh, a faraway look, or just a different kind of silence. And they notice. Suddenly, that playful dog goes quiet. The one who was just running around the house now slowly walks over, not intruding, but needing to be there, right next to you. This isn't just empathy, it's emotional memory. In the early stages of life, when a puppy senses that their mother is distressed or distant, they instinctively move closer, curl up next to her, wait. It's a gesture that goes beyond language, beyond instinct. It's a form of healing, a hug without arms. Your dog may not understand why you're sad, but they feel the weight in the air. And more than that, they feel the weight in you. So they respond. They bring a toy. They rest their head on your lap. They lie down in silence, watching you with quiet eyes that seem to say, I don't know what's wrong, but I'm here, and I'm not going anywhere. In that moment, the roles reverse. The one who's always been cared for now wants to care for you. The one who's always sought safety in your arms now wants to offer you the same. Because in their heart, love isn't one-sided. Love is mutual. It's attunement. It's presence in the moments when everything feels heavy. If you've ever gone through something hard with your dog by your side, you know how powerful that presence can be. Not because they give advice, not because they fix anything, but because they stay, without needing to understand, without asking anything of you, just being there, quietly holding space for your pain. That's why so many people say their dogs help them survive their darkest days. Because instead of asking what's wrong, they simply offer their whole heart. And in doing so, they become more than companions. They become lifelines. So if your dog becomes still, gentle, or different when you're not okay, know this: they see it, they feel it, and they love you in a way most beings never will. 6. They make soft sounds, but only when they're close to you. Have you ever heard your dog let out a deep, contented sigh while lying beside you? Or maybe a soft little grunt, a quiet or even a low hum you can barely hear. These subtle sounds often go unnoticed, but they carry meaning. They're called attachment vocalizations, and they reveal something incredibly deep. When puppies are near their mother, they emit soft, relaxed sounds that reflect comfort and emotional safety. These aren't barks or whines or requests. They're expressions of peace, a signal that says, right now I feel safe, I feel whole. When your dog makes these sounds while curled up next to you, they're telling you, this is where I belong. These sounds don't happen when they're excited or when strangers are around. They happen in stillness, in closeness, when they're not asking for anything, just quietly celebrating your presence with their entire being. It's like their body is speaking in a language only you get to hear. A soft, sacred whisper that says, thank you for being mine. It's not loud, it's not dramatic, but it's real. And it's reserved only for the person they trust enough to fully relax with. Your dog isn't performing. They're not trying to get your attention. They're simply allowing themselves to be vulnerable in your presence. And those soft sounds are the proof. They're not just calm, they're emotionally home. Many people assume these sighs and murmurs mean nothing, but if you listen closely, they mean everything. They're tiny reminders that your dog doesn't need anything flashy to feel joy. Just you. Just your scent, your closeness, your energy. So next time you hear that gentle sigh beside you, smile. Because you're not just hearing a sound, you're hearing love in its quietest, purest form. 7. They wait for you to eat before touching their own food. Most dogs run to their food the moment they smell it. But some wait. They look at you. They stay still, even when they're clearly hungry. And only when you sit down, or speak, or simply show that everything is okay, do they begin to eat. At first glance, it may seem insignificant, but it's actually one of the deepest signs of respect and emotional connection a dog can show. In the wild, puppies observe their mother's behavior before doing anything, eating, exploring, or even relaxing. They follow her rhythm, look for her cues, and wait for the emotional green light. It's a natural, instinctive way of learning and of honoring her presence. When your dog does this with you, they're saying something powerful. You are my rhythm. If you're here, then everything feels right. Eating isn't just about food, it's about safety, and that safety comes from your presence. Some dogs even refuse to eat unless you're in the same room. Others wait to hear your voice or see your eyes. For them, food doesn't feel complete unless the one they love most is near. The act of eating is tied to emotional security, and you are their source of that. It's not about obedience. It's not about routine. It's about connection. Your presence brings them peace, and that peace allows them to lower their guard, even around something as basic as food. So next time your dog waits before eating, don't dismiss it. See it for what it truly is, a ritual of love, trust, and silent gratitude. They're saying, I'm okay now, because you're here, and that's all I need. 8. They lie on their back near you, without wanting to play. Every dog rolls onto their back sometimes, and often it comes with a playful attitude, paws up, tongue out, a clear invitation for belly rubs and fun. But there's another version of this behavior, quieter, deeper, that happens when they lie near you, belly exposed, eyes half closed, breathing slow. And they don't want to play, they just want to be. This isn't an invitation for a game. It's a gesture of total surrender. The belly is the most vulnerable part of a dog's body. Lying like this beside you without asking for anything means, I feel safe. I trust you completely. You don't have to prove anything. I already know you'd never hurt me. Puppies do this with their mothers after they've been fed, comforted, and reassured. It's a moment when their body lets go. No tension, no worry, just peace. And when your dog repeats this with you, it means you've become that same source of peace. You're not just someone they love. You're someone they can fully let their guard down around. And sometimes, in that exact moment, they let out a long sigh, as if something inside them finally relaxed. That sound, that posture, that's not coincidence. That's what it looks like when a soul feels safe. People often think this is just a relaxed pose, but what they don't realize is how rare it is, how sacred it is, because a dog won't do this with someone they don't deeply trust. It's reserved for the person they've chosen to give their full emotional weight to, their one true home. So next time they lie on their back beside you without asking for anything, don't rush to rub their belly. Just pause, look at them, and realize what's really happening. They're giving you their most honest form of love. 9. They watch you in silence, without wanting anything in return. It's not when you're holding food, not when you're calling them for a walk. It's during those ordinary quiet moments and when you're just living, sitting on the couch, doing the dishes, reading a book, staring out the window. And then you feel it, their gaze. You turn your head, and there they are, lying down, calm, eyes fixed on you. That look isn't a request. It isn't expectation. It's quiet admiration. It's the kind of gaze puppies give their mother, watching her move, breathe, be. Not to get anything, but just to feel close, just to feel whole. This type of observation doesn't happen constantly. It's rare. And when it does, it's proof that you've become more than company. You've become their emotional reference point, their north, their peace. It's as if they're absorbing your energy, learning from your stillness, reaffirming with every glance that you are the most important part of their world. Even if they don't understand what you're thinking or doing, they understand what matters most. You're there, and that's all they need. This kind of look is the opposite of urgency. It's pure presence, the kind of love that doesn't need a gesture, a word, or even a movement, just being. And when they look at you like that, you realize, to them, you're not just a human. You're the mother they chose to love. And sometimes, after that long gaze, they close their eyes slowly, as if saying, all is well now. Because for them, if you're okay, the world is okay. Now that you've seen these 9 gestures, you might start to see your dog in a whole new light. You might realize that while you thought you were simply feeding them, walking them, and taking care of their needs, you were actually doing something much deeper. You were healing, holding space, becoming something they may have lost too early, or never had at all. If your dog sees you as their mother, it's not because you look like one. It's because you act like one. You show up, you protect, you comfort, you understand. And in that quiet space between you, in the glances, the routines, the silences, something sacred has taken root. You are the home they found when they needed it most. And now everything they do, from lying at your feet to simply watching you in silence, is their way of saying, thank you for being what no one else ever was for me.